Hi, my name is Cricket, and I'm quality control for DirecTV, and you're watching channel 578. Is that okay? Woo! Got it!
In this session, we'll be focusing on reducing service calls, providing a higher level of customer satisfaction, and doing a much more professional-looking installation. We'll be covering wall fishing, the process of routing cables through walls. Routing cables through walls provides a much more aesthetically pleasing installation than running cables along walls or baseboards or wrapping customers' houses with RG6. The majority of this video was shot in February of 2004, and though some of the required materials you may see have changed, the techniques haven't. Today, routing cables through walls has become more common than ever with the increasing number of wall-mounted TV sets and the increasing customer demands for a more professional-looking installation. In some cases, there may be an additional charge for fishing walls. If that's the case, it's essential that you let the customer know before starting work. Here are some techniques and some hardware that could help you in your next installation. Please pay close attention because there will be a test.
Hi, I'm Patrick with DirecTV's Technical Training Department. In this training session, we'll provide you with the techniques and the tips associated with basic wall fishing. Wall fishing is the art of concealing the cable inside the wall cavity so it can't be seen. Many homeowners prefer this method because the cables cannot be seen on the interior or exterior of the home. Lacking Superman's ability to see through walls, we can't know exactly what's behind the customer's walls or above their ceilings. However, with the proper tools, techniques, and practice, we can become super wall fishers and virtually see inside walls. In this training video, we will provide you with the foundation you'll need to become an effective and efficient wall fisher. During this video, we will take a look at common home construction basics such as wall, floor, and ceiling construction. We'll demonstrate a couple of basic wall fishing techniques and provide instructions on the tools used. Then, we'll give you some tips on more complex wall fishing situations. Then we'll wrap it up with some suggestions on keeping the customer satisfied as it relates to wall fishing. Let's get started by taking a look at common home construction and how we can use this knowledge to see behind walls. House construction styles vary from neighborhood to neighborhood, city to city, and from state to state. Though each house looks different from the outside, they all have common structural characteristics, such as floors, walls, ceilings, and roofs. Let's take a look at basic home construction, starting with the floor. A seal plate is attached to the end of a floor joist. The seal plate is also used to secure and maintain joist spacing. Now let's take a look at basic wall construction. The sole plate is attached on top of the floor joists and serves as support and spacer for the wall studs. The wall studs provide support to the ceiling. They are attached to the sole plates and spaced between 16 to 24 inches apart. The top plate is used to secure and maintain spacing for the studs. Insulation is usually placed between the studs on the outside walls. Outside walls are also required to have fire breaks. Ceiling construction is similar to floor construction. The ceiling joists are attached to the top plate and are spaced 16 or 24 inches apart. If it is a single-story building, the ceiling joists may be attached to the rafters. Insulation is usually placed between the joists. On a two-story building, the ceiling joists are also used as floor joists. Now, not all buildings have an attic, but if there is one, it's usually above the ceiling joists. Outside wall material, such as sheathing, tar paper, and siding are attached to the outside wall. These are basic home construction examples, but it should provide us with the knowledge we need to fish an inside wall that does not have a fire break or insulation. Next, we'll look at some basic wall fishing techniques and tools. Before drilling or cutting any holes in the customer's home, always check to see if you can route the cable through an existing hole or wall plate. This should be done during your interior site survey. First, we'll demonstrate how to fish the RG6 cable on an inside wall from the attic down, and from the basement or crawl space up. Before we get started, let's take a look at some of the tools we'll use for this demonstration. We'll use a drill, stud locator, drywall saw, fish tape, a pull or glow rod, ball chain and magnet, 3/4 inch to 1 1/4 inch drill bit, and a 4-foot or a 6-foot flexible drill bit. Let's start with fishing an inside wall from the attic. In this scenario, you've confirmed with the customer the location they would like to have the DirecTV receiver installed is on an internal wall. Prior to starting the wall fish, you've performed a site survey on the exterior of the home and in the attic to select the best location to mount the dish and route the cables. You mounted the dish and drilled a 3/4 to 1 1/4 inch hole from the outside to the attic. You tied the cable to the fish tape or push rod and fed it through the hole into the attic. Next, you went into the attic and located the fish tape or glow rod and pulled the cable through. Here's a few tech tips when working in attics. Applying baby powder liberally to your hands, arms, and neck, as well as wearing a face mask, will help prevent irritation caused by the insulation. A headlight is also useful as a source of hands-free light. Caution should be exercised when working in excessively hot attics. Always use your best judgment. Once your work in the attic is done, you'll need to perform an internal visual site survey and check on both sides of the wall for electrical outlets and plumbing. Use a stud finder to locate studs and determine if there's a fire break or a cross stud. In this scenario, the stud finder did not locate a fire break or a cross stud. Once you've determined where you'd like to install the wall box, measure from that location to the corner of the wall. This way you'll know the exact spot to drill while you're in the attic. Check this location for vent pipes, plumbing, electrical wire, or other potential hazards. This may appear to be an extra trip to the attic. However, this extra site survey could save you money and hours of extra work should you cut the drywall for the outlet box in an inaccessible wall cavity. Here's a tech tip to help you locate the exact location of the wall while in the attic. Some installers use a small steel rod between 16 to 18 gauge, similar to this one. Depending on how thick the insulation is will determine the length. Cut the end of the steel rod at a 45-degree angle to create a point. Carefully twist the rod through the ceiling next to the stud where you plan to cut the hole for the wall box. When you go into the attic, you'll be able to easily find the inside wall by locating the steel rod. The steel rod should be above the insulation and reflect the light from your flashlight. Everything looks okay, so let's go back down to the outlet location. Be sure to remove the steel rod and patch up the hole using DAP or white caulk. Now that you're ready to install the wall plate, you'll need to measure the height of the existing wall plates from the floor. The three basic types of enclosures are the standard outlet box, the drywall box, and the mud ring. Whichever enclosure you use, make sure you measure the piece to be cut out exactly. Mark the wall plate location about 3 inches from the stud. For best results, use a level, the box you're going to use, or a template. Drill out a hole in opposite corners. With a drywall saw, cut out the hole. Now that you have a relatively large hole in the drywall, we can feed the cable from the attic or basement through the wall to the outlet location. Before you go back into the attic to drill into the top plate, leave a small flashlight in the hole you cut for the wall box. The light from the flashlight should be visible through the hole you drill in the top plate of the wall. After you have identified the correct wall and the exact location for the outlet, drill a 3/4 to a 1 1/4 inch hole in the top plate of the wall. If you measured correctly, you should see the light from the flashlight you have shining in the wall below. If not, you've drilled into the wrong cavity or there's a fire break. If you determine that there's a fire break in the wall, preventing you from reaching the wall box, you'll need to drill a hole through it using a 6-foot drill bit like this one. Insert the 6-foot long flexible drill bit through the hole you drill in the top plate until it reaches the fire break. Tap the drill bit against the fire break until you determine that it's in the center. Carefully drill straight through the fire break. The cable can be attached to the flex bit without pulling the bit back through the fire break. Simply attach the cable to the flex bit, drop it down the wall, and pull it through the drywall cutout. This step saves time by eliminating an additional trip to the attic. Other popular methods used to route cable when fishing walls include the ball chain and magnet and the glow rod. Here's an example of how to use the ball chain and magnet. Simply feed the ball chain through the hole in the top plate. The ring at the end of the ball chain will stop it from falling through the hole. Put the magnet retriever in the hole and move it around until it locates the ball.